Oof. I think, yeah, we are live. Congratulations. Hello everyone. Happy Saturday. Why is it not why it look like this? There we go. My dashboard was all messed up. This aside, if you're trying to submit, you can submit now. This might have been, hey yo, calm down, calm down. We're gonna be doing things a little bit differently today, and for very very good reason. I don't know how many people are here. But I would prefer, like, we're gonna wait a tiny bit. On top of that too, we need to have a discussion about the future of beat reviews, because they're kind of in like a really wonky ass place. Like right now as it stands. And yes, I made a diagram, don't question it. Right? We have current beat review, and in this current beat review we've got like a beat battle, we've got the regular beat review for everyone who just wants to pop in, submit within the 10 minutes, and then we've got like the members feedback, where the members kind of get their own special privileges. So it's like three things kind of meshed into one in one stream, and it like doesn't let us really leverage any of that. Like it doesn't let us put any of that kind of in priority. Like we get to the beat battle portion, anyone who wasn't here for feedback, they were here for a beat battle, they stay, but the feedback people leave, and it doesn't let us kind of like really dive into the beat battle and spend more time on it. Or like the portion of sorry, my dashboard keeps goofing up, I don't know why, but like the portion of members feedback, it's kind of janky. I'll show you what I mean. Like we have to kind of jump between the members thing here, the members beat review, and then the regular beat review, and it's like it's not all in one place, kind of gets messy, and we don't really get to dive into the members feedback in a way that I kind of like necessarily, like it kind of just becomes, let me listen to your beat for 40 seconds. Yours will get listened to first, maybe, and that's about it, as opposed to, let me listen to the whole beat, let me give you constructive feedback, let me take notes, let me really dive into it. That's kind of what I want the members feedback to turn into a bit more. And I think John Bay kind of presented an interesting idea as well in the members chat. He didn't really present it as an idea, I guess, but what he kind of brought up was that he wanted feedback on his channel, and as someone with a channel that has like 170,000 subscribers roughly, I feel like I have some grounds to give feedback on your channel, on your type beat channel, to let you know what's good, what's bad, what we could change, etc. So that's kind of what I want to do with the members feedback. I want to change it in that direction. You know what I'm saying? And then the regular beat review, if we have more time in that beat review by removing these other things like the members feedback, the beat battle, then with that, you didn't know it was gonna be this wild, but with that, then we can use that time to give more feedback. Like instead of just like a 10-minute window where we waste an hour on doing a beat battle at the end and everything, we can like maybe extend that to a 15-minute window or something. I don't know. We can extend it. We can play around with the time. We can give more feedback and more meaningful feedback. So I kind of wanted your opinion on this. This is what I'm leaning towards. I want to split it across three things. Have like three streams, do the members feedback, the beat battle, and the regular beat review all separately. The members feedback would be its own stream. It would be members only. So if you're not a member, you wouldn't even be able to see it. But I'm going to run a poll, and y'all can give your input. If you have your own ideas, feel free to share them. I'm interested to listen. I'll run the poll just kind of in the background, I guess. You can drop your input. This shit tastes like ass. And let's get into reviewing some beats. We do have to start with the members. This is exactly what I was talking about, because we got one from John Bay. Yeah, I like the vocal chop. I really liked what you're doing with the hi-hats, having them kind of pan around at times. I think that's kind of fun, kind of interesting. It does feel very empty, very spacious, so I'm assuming it's like kind of a bit more of a placement beat because there is a lot of room in there. But I think you did a really good job. Drums are smooth. There's no like big complaints. The mix is clean. I feel like I'm gonna pin it, but I don't think it's gonna like. I don't think it's win worthy. No offense. It's not you. It's more so just the fact that there's not a whole lot going on. It's a placement beat. You know what I mean? Bro is never pulling anything out new. Bro, the beat reviews have stayed like the same for over what, like a year and a half now? And they've suffered because of it. Like they're just not doing well. Like analytically, they don't make sense. Logically, they don't make sense. And I see a large portion of people want the beat battle to stay with it. But like if we had our own beat battle stream, we could have like real prizes instead of like discount codes for my kits. You know what I mean? Like we could really kind of build into that. That's the idea. We got Mr. Me with Bipolary. Bipolary?
And you, music lover, you're next.
I feel like, yeah, you hit it on the head, Migraine. It's good. It's not the best, don't get me wrong. It's a little bit on the basic side. You did great with the sample. The drums, honestly, these are some of your best drums, Mr. Me. You've done some pretty dookie-ass drums in the past. These are your best drums. I don't love the 808 necessarily because it kind of feels right, but a little bit wrong at the same time. I'm not sure how to describe it, to be honest with you, but I think it works still. It's good. It's a pretty good beat. You've done well. This is, in my opinion, the best one you've ever sent me. We got Raiden. Raiden, you cooked. I feel like I have no constructive criticism. It's good. It's a banger. It hits. I think, actually, you know what? I do have some constructive criticism. It feels a little slow, the intro-wise. It felt a little boring. Amateur, almost, I would say. The intro felt a little amateur. Like, I was listening to it, I was like, this is probably, like, a little bit how, like, the first beats I made sounded. But then the drums come in, it gets interesting, it gets good. So I think you could maybe like clean that up a bit or dive into that a bit more, but it's really good. You made something. Let's go. Yeah, I think honestly, this is the other thing I like about beat review. Some of you guys have really good feedback. You listen to things, you hear things in a different way from how I hear them. I think that's a good way of addressing it. Someone said that the drums are missing some compression. I agree. The drums are very lackluster. They're not. I'm not a funk fan or funk or however the fuck you say it. But basically, these drums are weak as shit, and they should hit way harder. And they're not doing that. You know what I mean? But you got the melody, you got the other funk things. They're cool. They're okay. I'm not a fan of the genre, so it's not doing much for me. But you know what? If you're a fan of the genre and you do like it, you got something you can take away and improve it with. I'm gonna pause. This is like one of the rare moments where I'm pausing it as it's playing. I don't really like the snare sample for this, like what you have hitting on your 3, your like 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm talking about? On your third beat, whatever that is, I don't think it fits in the context of this beat. I don't like the way it works with all the other sounds, and I think you should have used a different snare sample for that. I will say the kick is hitting real nice. I think the 808 it has some good stuff happen with it. For those notes where it's being held longer, it has like the depth coming through, some of the cool sound with the 808 coming through. But on the shorter notes, it just kind of sounds like a little bit of a fart, so it doesn't work the greatest in my opinion. Yeah, I feel like that's a bit more note length. The melody too is a little plain. You know, it's like the drill melody. It's more of a vibe than anything else. I miss melodies. Let's bring them back. This profile picture needs to be changed, my guy. Yeah, you have a lot of good stuff. The mix just sucks. That's the problem, right? You got some cool stuff going on with your patterns, some decent rhythms. The chords are nice. The sounds are okay-ish. It's just the mix sucks. The melody's too loud. I don't think it's too sharp. I kind of like the higher pitch tones to it. It's just too loud, so it feels like they're sharper than they should be. So it's like, fix the mix, you have something pretty solid. You could probably like dive into some leads or like plucks. You could kind of get creative, throw in a sequence. There's a lot you could do to make it more interesting, but like your mix is your biggest problem. And it didn't really sound much like a trap beat, more like one of the various subgenres. Alright, so what I'm going to say is you got some cool stuff going on in the melody. I like some of it. Some interesting rhythms, some interesting patterns, you know, some cool stuff. The just the entire thing doesn't feel cohesive at all. And like by that I mean some things kind of play into each other, some things kind of flow, some things don't, and most things definitely don't. The 808 kind of sounds a little wonky too at times. Like when it's on its own and it's just the one pattern and it's very bare bones. But those two components aren't sounding perfect together or all that great. It's just not cohesive, you know? That's my beef. We got Mutone. I have to say, like, you do have some variation. I can't knock you for it because you do switch things up a little bit. But my beef is the chords. You're just going duh 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 and then repeat. You know what I mean? Like over and over and over again. I think that's fine. Oh, I'm gonna expose myself for a second. My flstudio is kind of bugged out. But what I'm saying is, like, let's say like you got like your really basic chord progression, whatever. I don't know, let's just like make it a 1-7-6 for simplicity, right? So let's just say you've got your chord progression here, right? And you're just going around repeating it. This is gonna get stupidly repetitive. Like by this amount, I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? So like you can either play around with the voicings. I don't know, maybe you want this one pitched up, maybe you want this one pitched up, but over here you want them pitched down. I don't know. You know, like play around with the voicings. You can keep the chords the same, but you can play around with the voicings. You can also add in some notes for decorating the chords up a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Just keep the basis of the chord the same. Yeah, it could be used for a big switch up. But like keep the basis of the chord. If you're not planning to do anything special with it, if it's not intentional, keep the basis of the chord the same, but like mix it up a little bit, you know? You can create some cool vibes, cool sounds with it. My other kind of point of feedback is the drums, like the kick was hitting, but the 808 was kind of drowned out behind it a lot. So like the tail end of it, it wasn't really doing anything, you know what I mean? So you could turn that up. We got Vernal Equinox, what a name. This is weird. Like, you have some cool stuff. You really do. You really, really do. Whoa. But I think, like, it kind of just feels empty almost. You created a vibe above all else. The melody, if I can even really call it that, is nice. It's ambient but kind of dark. It's cool. The drums are nice for the most part. Not crazy about the fact that they're drill drums. The CTM kind of felt a little out of place. But my biggest beef definitely has to be with the fact that it feels so empty. Like just one little thing could fill it up, I think, a bit.
Shaker 10.
This is like a beat. That's the problem. It's a beat. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna listen to it and go, this is the craziest beat of my life. I listen to it and I'm like, this is a beat. It is solid. It's fine. There's no like glaring technical issue. It's just, and this is an okay thing. This happens. Everyone goes through with this. I'm going through with it right now. It feels uninspired. It feels like there's just, you sat down, you said, I'm gonna make a beat today. And you didn't really think too much about it. You made a beat, came out pretty solid. You put your skills, the things you've learned to use, and you create something that is objectively fine. Like there's no problem with it. No dramatic problem with it. But at the end of the day, it's not doing anything really. You know what I mean? It's not coming out. It's not being creative. It's not pushing your boundaries. You know? It's safe. So I would urge you to try and do a little bit more of that. Get a little more into it. Get creative. Do something you don't usually do. You know what I mean? Mix it up. Dive into sound design if you've never sound designed before. Make the sounds yourself. You know, like just do something a little different. Mess with your creative process, and you'll find a little bit more room to grow, I guess. Star. What is this name? Dog. What? That little square lead, I think that's a square lead. The square lead in the back's a little too quiet. I'm glad you changed it, but it is very repetitive, and the repetitiveness kind of gets a little tired. This dude needs like a 2-month timeout. How do I even time out people? He acts like a child because he is a child. Acts like a child. Cool. I think it's good though. Like overall, objectively, it's good. I like to switch up in the 808, like the instrument. My big beef really to it though is just how repetitive your bass line is, and because your bass is so loud, it's so like up front and in your face, it just feels overly repetitive and you get kind of tired of it, you know, even though it's supposed to be bouncy. It just doesn't feel like that. Yeah, Mars, bro, like I don't know, is he still 12 years old? It's been 2 years, so he should be 14 by now. He should start acting like it, you know what I mean? The dude acts like he's 6 still. It's crazy. We got 70. Yeah, I don't need to listen to any more. You deserve the pin. I think it's good. The metronome count-in was nice. It was a little somewhat creative. It's been done before, but I like the way you kind of rolled it in. It was cool. The drums were hitting. The melody was nice. There was variation. It was good. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think the reason Mars, someone was asking, they said, why did he say shut up? It's because he's at that age, you know, where it's like things, being edgy is seen as cool. And when you grow up, you realize, damn, that's some loser shit, bro. Euphoria 2, bro is recreating the show. So I got two beefs with this. Two problems. My problem number one, it's not the biggest problem, but my problem is the fact that your 808 is just like super saturated. I feel like you could maybe tone the saturation back a little bit more, just because like it's just so saturated. But it still kept the punch, which was really nice. It was clean at the same time. But I do feel like toning it back a tiny bit would be good. And the other thing is just like the melody is very much just like a sequence mostly. Like that's the main kind of bit. And it's getting repeated over and over again. So like some variation could be good in there, but I think the mix thing is kind of more what I would change personally, because the variation still is somewhat there. Jade X ad, I don't know. Nothing gets to me more than when someone just has like a stupidly quiet mix. And it's not because of like them just being bad, it's because they've mixed relatively quiet. And this can be for all sorts of reasons, but it just ends up with the end result not being as good as it could be. Like I understand maybe you're leaving headroom, whatever, but like fix it in the master then if that's what you're doing. I also really don't like that like crying sound. Like it sounds like a cat is crying. I'm not a fan of it. Yeah, there's some questionable sound selection decisions made here for sure. Bested. Listen, I'm gonna actually say something because someone waffle that is derpy. You kind of raised an interesting thing. There's if you don't know, there's this thing called, what is it? Julian loudness meter. What is it? Julian loudness meter, right? You can get this plugin. It's free. It just kind of shows you like your LUFS, which is like a measurement of sound, because decibels aren't necessarily like, what is it, standardized or whatever. Like you've got like your long-term LUFS, your short-term blah blah blah, right? It's something for analyzing. You don't need it. You can get it if you want, but you don't need it because you should be able to use your ears and go, damn, this shit's kind of quiet, and like compared to this other thing I'm listening to at the same volume on Spotify or Tidal or Apple Music or whatever you use. Yeah, Raiden, if you popped your beat into this, it would pretty much just, everything would be red. But it's not a bad thing. Back to the beat we were listening to. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really feeling this. Like, I just kind of feel like you had this vibey, ambient-ish melody kind of thing going on, and you put an 808 in just some random-ish kind of spots. The hi-hat pattern, I don't love the hi-hat sample, but that's besides the point. The hi-hat pattern is pretty much just a two-step. Like, you don't have much bounce going on that kind of plays with the melody, so it feels a little disjointed, you know? It's for a Roblox game. What? I gave song early for a live stream. I hope that I don't regret and shortcut title and 1 year of making music. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. This is not something I can read or comprehend. Maybe that's me, maybe that's you, who knows? We're 7 seconds in. There's never mind. Let's just keep playing. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't like some of the things you're doing. You have way too much resonance in the beginning that just like hurts. It hurts. The chords are okay-ish. They're a little like happy-go-lucky, happy, goofy kind of sounding. Maybe that's the vibe you're going for. It is a Roblox game. I don't know. I don't know where to start with the hi-hats, to be honest with you. I think you kind of have like this weird mix of like a swing bounce and then you're doing trap rolls. It feels weird. It feels weird. I don't know the exact vibe you're trying to go for. Maybe this is that vibe, but there's some mixed stuff you should fix. The hi-hat pattern should be kind of more consistent. Makes a little more sense, you know what I mean? Chords could be cooler. But again, it kind of comes down to what are you actually making. Yeah. And I don't know what the rest of this means. Shout out to Roblox though. Great game engine if you're trying to learn how to code.
Nico, you know what's up.
Yeah, it's good. It's really strong in terms of its mix. I think it's a little plain, but it's solid. The drums are hitting. They're nice. The patterns are pretty decent, so I'm gonna pin it for that, and because we're a little desperate for pins. And this brings us to Raiden. Real quick, why is the skull and the praying hands emoji here like why are they like compressed? Is that just me? No? Alright, Raiden, that shit slaps. That was good. The mix definitely, in my opinion, was a little messier than your other mix. But I understand that that's what you were trying to do. I think it was good. Whoa. I swear I pinned more than just Raiden. What? Oh no, we're gonna have to like fix this, aren't we? 70, Miko, and Raiden should be pinned here. But none of them. What? Did it like say some message? I just didn't pay attention. Yeah. What the? Let me guess. I feel like maybe someone just went and unpinned it. It was me. All right, we got 01 Trey, Rari type beat. So you have, interestingly enough, you've got a lot of like mud kind of in your mix. I should just leave FL Studio open. Also, if anyone knows how to fix this to where like all my MIDI devices don't just bug out when I open FL Studio, please let me know. But you've got a lot of mud in your mix, and just for reference, the mud in your mix typically lives around like in the mids here and a little bit of the low mids. So like you can clean that up pretty easily just by making room in the mids for your instruments, you know? Because especially for what you're trying to make, you've got a lot in that space. Your drums aren't hidden either, to be honest. Mostly, like the kick is okay. I don't really care about the kick. I hate it. I don't like kicks. That's just my personal thing. If you have an 808, it's drowned out. Or if that's just your 808, it's missing its low end for some reason. But that's besides the point. The easiest way to get your drums saturated is to push them into some kind of soft clipper, or you can do a hard clipper if you want, but that's besides the point. And pretty much the way it works is if it exceeds the threshold, which the threshold is right here, it's the thresh. If it exceeds that, then it's going to saturate. This is just the post gain, so you can make it come back up in volume afterwards, so it maintains the volume and just saturates. That's kind of the idea behind soft clipping. So you can get your drums hitting a little harder, a little more saturated, just to kind of clean that up. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of thought those chords were cool. I like the dissonance it added in with your beat. My problem with it though is it was just the same chord repeated over and over and over again. I think you could have changed up like one note, like just a handful of notes. I'm gonna open up FL Studio to show you what I mean. If we hop over to, you're in C minor, so let's just go C minor, right? So let's just say you've got like, I don't know, this is your chord. Let's just say this is your chord, right? And you're repeating this chord a bunch of times. If you repeat the same chord over and over again, it's gonna get repetitive, you know? I forgot that I have the EQ on here. Let's just turn that off. So if you repeat your chord a bunch of times, it's gonna sound repetitive. Right? But you can change like one note and it'll change the entire chord. So like this, for example, now this is not the root chord anymore, I'm playing the 6th, but it's just inverted. And I've dropped down the 5th of that 6 to a 4, so I'm doing some like weird shit. And now it sounds a little bit more diverse, so you can just play around with like a single note in your chord to keep them the same mostly, but to play around with the vibe that they're presenting. I'm probably gonna open up FL again later. Tempo, bag.
Tempo.
I think this is a great example of kind of playing with your melody in terms of rhythm, because it feels like the drums are hitting when they should be hitting, and then they're letting the melody do what it needs to do in that empty space that the drums aren't occupying. So I think that's a really good thing. I think the sample's fine, like there's no big problem with it. I feel like the sample's just okay though. That's kind of what I have a beef with. But it's good. It's good, the drums hit. Everything's good with your mix. Bro, I don't know if this counts as an actual rage beat anymore. Listen, rage is dead. Rage has been dead. Anyone who says otherwise doesn't understand what actually made rage, or what rage was. That's my beef. This doesn't count as rage. I'm gonna tell you right away. That's the interesting thing. I'm gonna diagram this. Can we delete this? Yes, we can. Right? So the way it kind of ended up going was like you had rage, which was, this is like tiny text. I don't know if you can see it, right? You had rage. And then around like a similar time, you also got opium, sort of, which was also kind of like around the same time as virtual. So which was like kind of like the yeet stuff, right? These are not the same. There's a very big difference between these two. And it kind of comes down into the music theory. It comes down into the sound selection. Pretty big difference. They do use similar plugins, but different sounds, different music theory, different drums, etc. So that's like completely besides the point. Then rage turned into whatchamacallit. Turned into, I always forget the name of it, new jazz. And new jazz had like the same life cycle as rage, where it died within a month. So this has continued kind of like evolving into more unique sounds, but it's been evolving separate of rage, but similar, because it started from somewhat of a similar place. That's it. You gotta control these levels way better. I agree. I don't really like the kick. Again, I don't like kicks. I think the lead is definitely a rage kind of sounding lead. You've got this like acoustic plucky bass in there, which feels a little odd because it doesn't really fit with more of the ragey kind of sounds you're using at times. So it's a little confused. Biggest problem though is your levels. 100%. Your levels are awful. And there's two things you probably need to consider with your levels. First is gain staging, right? Gain staging is not complicated. We have to diagram. You know what? Listen, we're gonna be diagramming. Hopefully not that much. Let's use MS Paint. I feel like that's kind of the sauce these days, right? Everybody uses MS Paint, right? But the way that music works, we need a pencil or something. How do you change the size? Whoa. Okay. So the way it kind of works is you have a signal, right? And your signal is the sound. The signal is your sound, and it goes between channels, right? So from your source, it starts at your VST, and then it goes into your mixer track, your mixer channel. I'll write this down. VST, mixer, bus, and then like master, right? Master. This is like roughly kind of the flow, right? And of the signal goes from VST, goes to the mixer, goes to the bus, which goes to the master. Along the way though, you want to control the signal. What's the bus? That's a great question, which I can really easily explain to you. The bus is kind of like where you put a bunch of shit before the master. So for example, I have a melody bus here. All my melody channels are 1 to 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is it? You can just like control click. No, it's shift. I forget how to do it. But it's all of these. These are my melody channels. And they're going into my melody bus over here. This allows me to mix all my melody stuff together. So let's say I wanted to throw a limiter, like my overall melody was mixed good in relation to each other, but I wanted to limit the whole thing, or if I wanted to, like, I don't know, add some compression, get everything glued together a bit, I would do that in my bus. So that's the point of the bus, roughly. That's like the high level understanding of it. Along the way, though, you want to control your signal. So from VST to mixer, for example, this is probably the example most trap producers are used to. You want probably your signal of the 808 to be a little bit louder going into your mix channel, because back to what we talked about before with soft clipper, you want it to exceed that threshold so that it saturates, right? So you want to control that signal to be louder, to exceed the threshold, right? So you see what I'm saying? So that's the first thing you need to do while controlling your levels. You need to control it along its journey through all of this nonsense, right? The other thing you can do is either compression, limiting, clipping even can control levels in a dynamic way, whatever. So you want to, like soft clipper, limiter, where's limiter? I opened it earlier. Limiter, you could just kind of put a ceiling, you know, like you want to control those things along the way so that your beat doesn't end up sounding messy and muddy, right? You can also control it with automation, but there's a lot you can do. So dive into that.
Think up, shawty.
Your melody is gorgeous. The drums, though, I feel like in some spots they're hitting where I really don't want them to. Like the melody should shine through a bit more, in my opinion. And the drums just take up space where they detract from the melody. Superstar 160 BPM from Aaron Henney. Honestly, I wasn't gonna say too much about it, but you have this terrible low end nonsense going on here. Your chords are hopping back to FL Studio, right? Your chords are occupying this low end a little too much for your 808, because your 808 is living, guess where? The bass and the sub. This is like your biggest section for the 808. This is where it lives, and because it's taking up so much space, right? The 808 is big. It's the loudest component in your beat. The chords that are also kind of having some impact down here make it a nightmare. It's messy, it's dirty, it's ugly, it clashes. All you need to do is just cut it. You just can remove. Honestly, you can remove up to 150, 200, whatever you want, whatever sounds good to you. But if you want to be light about it, I would recommend like minimum like 100 hertz, a cut around there. Yeah. You could probably also turn the chords down a little bit. One more minute. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think the kick kind of fits in this vibe necessarily. I think what I like the most is when the kick's not hitting and it's just the 808. I think that last little bit where you kind of cut the drums there and had the melody note play, I thought that was good for your arrangement. Is skipping by paying possible? Technically, very technically, you have to be a member. We have like this members section down here. You gain access to it. You can submit, and then I review one of your beats. You get priority basically, and you don't have like the same kind of time limit for submitting. It's gonna change. Like I said earlier at the start of the stream, if you don't want, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go back and watch it later. But the beat reviews are gonna definitely change. I'm gonna split it up because right now we have three things essentially in the streams. We have a beat battle, we have the regular beat review, and then we also have the members beat review. So I want to like dive into those 3 things a little bit deeper, but split across, I don't know, 3 streams roughly. We got Kanye drill.
Zion on the track.
I don't really have a problem with the drums too much. Like they're okay, I guess. I more so just like I don't love the melody. It's a little boring, to be honest. Like there's nothing really going on. You have like a few ear candy things. You got chords, but like there's nothing else. It's a little lackluster, and I think you could expand on it. Bro, here's an 808 slide. You know what? Maybe. Who does? It's an 808 and Heartbreak Simple. I don't know.
Keep going. Keep striving. That shit's tough.
Yes, that's cool. But Ryan's beats are so fun. His beats are so hard.
They are lit. Keep going. Never look back.
So, listen, I'm a sucker for those kind of sample chops where you chop up the sample really fast like that with like the kind of chord vibe. It's really cool, but there's like one big problem I notice with it, and that big problem is that other genres just do it better. Like trap just doesn't do it the greatest. And this is kind of like an example of that. Like you have so much shit going on. The hi-hats are super fast, the sample chop is super fast. 808's like distorting a bunch, you know what I mean? Like it's filling up so much space, a lot's happening, and I'm guilty of doing this too. That it just kind of feels like, you know what, you lost that good thing you had before, and it's just filled up with a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of filler, a bunch of junk that kind of detracts from the one good thing that was really starting off there, you know? That's kind of it. That's my take. Dramatic type beat. What is a dramatic type beat? That shit's dramatic, bro. Let's move on. This is video game music, 100%. It's a little too busy though. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I do play video games. I do enjoy my video game music, but it's not some like I don't listen to it in my spare time, right? I'm not weird like that. Yeah, geometry dash type beat. It's too busy. It's too busy even for video game music. I think some good examples, in my opinion, or what is it? I'm gonna show you my Steam library. Where is it? This game has some bussin' music. If you don't know, this game has some good music. What is it? Battle Block Theater. Where's that? This is another good music game. Like, there's some great music in here. Similar vibe to what you have, but a lot less busy. A lot filled up with just garbled nonsense that kind of just detract from what you do have. I figured it was for a video game. Battle Block Theater has some banging music, bro. See that little bass run, like where it's just the bass? That was nice. That was really nice because it let just the bass kind of breathe. It let it live. It gave it some focus. So I think your overall beat kind of needs a bit more focus on what is good about it, and it needs to bring that more so to the front and center. That's my take. You gotta drop at exactly 40 seconds. That's crazy. Listen, Seven, I'm gonna tell you a story. The reason that I am not doing, like, I take your money and then I review your beat is because I did that once. I made the mistake. I made a huge mistake of offering that. And when I did, like, a shit ton of people just sent me money to review their beat, and all the people who had been waiting, they didn't get their chance. Like, they had to wait for like an hour of just me reviewing people's beats who paid me. And because I did it for one person, it wouldn't be fair if I cut people off after they had paid me. I don't want to do that, right? And it also kind of creates this setup where it's like you need money to get feedback, and it's like I don't really want to gatekeep feedback like some kind of bozo. He lied. It didn't happen at 40 seconds. I don't like the kick roll into the drop, and your overall beat should be, well, not should be, it could be louder. Some of your higher 808 notes feel like they're clashing a bit with the melody, but it's very slight. Yeah, the synth's good. The melody was good. The guitar was nice. It's good. I think it gets a little repetitive, but that is kind of the nature of these beats, like the 2000s beats. It is tough. Doozy, I didn't even notice you were here. I thought you were playing Beat Saber for an entire day, but this is actually the last time you played it. How are you doing, good sir? We got 183 by Prod Mvn.
I built this shit, nigga. me.
AOM cooking up.
This is gonna bug me if I don't say anything about it now, but that perk is so unnecessarily loud. You don't need that. You don't need it to be so loud. Please turn it down. It kind of hurts me. If that perk was quieter, I might pin it, to be honest with you. It just, I really have a beef with that specific perk sound being so loud. Intro beat to your upcoming album, Lonely Night, to be announced. Don't get me wrong, Doozy, I think it's really good. I think it's really, really good. You got some good guitar stuff, you got some decent drum stuff, but there is like a weird robotic tone to your drums with that open hat, and it's kind of really just pulling me away from wanting to like this more. That's my thing with this, you know? Other than that, it's a banger. That's my thing. What drums did you use? Did you use like one of those really expensive drum plugins, or like just drag and drop? What? I'm sorry, this is the funniest thing I've ever read. Yo, Riley, I'm only 11 and have one placement. What do you have to say? I have to say you should probably spend some more time in a classroom because you can't seem to spell two-letter words. This is a Minecraft sample moment, and this is like... Why? If you don't know this sound, like the sample from this, I'm sorry, you don't know Minecraft. The 808 doesn't work with it. The hi-hat sample is kind of goofy with it. It's a lo-fi kind of melody with the weirdest trap jump choices. I don't know why you did that. Ayush man. What? Bro, why are you doing this? I think this is a great example of doing too much. You're doing way too much with everything. Like the lead, too much gliding. Calm down. You don't need all this, right? Am I gonna stop at 12:45? What, bro? Can I even like open the clock on Windows 11? I don't know. You're doing too much though. You're doing way too much, bro. Jaden, shut up. Ayush man, you're doing too much glides, too much drums. You know, it's not even like the plug-in B vibe because it's not chill and sexy. It's over the top and confused. Rain faction. Yeah. 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 Wow, it's loud, ridiculously loud. Who did this? Who's the guilty one? It's way too loud, right? I honestly couldn't really get a good listen because I turned it down so quietly. It's like a TikTok type beat, you know what I mean? It's a TikTok edit. Also, Mihai, I know you've just popped in. You'll enjoy listening to this plugin B beat. Yeah, that's the plugin B beat. Gambling is not for anyone technically. Let's be realistic here, okay? Don't gamble, save your money, invest. Don't buy stocks, invest. There's a big difference there.
They said you going crazy. Damn, I was just like monologuing to myself. All I said though really was that it's a good beat. There's like a snare that's a little too loud, but we'll look past it. We got a members beat to give a listen to. We got Mihai. Alright, Mihai, it's good. I'm gonna pin it. Don't get me wrong, it's not my favorite beat in the entire universe, but you know what? It's a pretty good beat. I'll give you credit where credit is due. Whoa. Rolls are a little much. Hey. Welcome to the, what do we call it again? The peasants are those who don't pay, and the nobility is those who do. Congratulations. Welcome to the upper class.
Mellow.
By the way, this is an MP3.mp3 type beat here, so that's some crazy shit right now. What I don't like about it is the 808 kind of sounds goofy, doesn't really fit. The melody is like
very 2017, very like just sad boy vibes, but kind of slow, which is okay. It just doesn't feel up to date necessarily. Maybe that's what you were going for, but the 808 didn't really fit with it. This is a very average beat. My best sampled beat. All right.
I used to think if I wasn't running around that I was square and I couldn't get down. But I was just flying my kite, 'cause you made things right.
Blackie, you're crazy.
Girl, you out of
I think it's good. Overall, it's pretty solid. I'm gonna pin it. There's some times where I'm not loving how the 808 kind of interacts with everything else, but you know what? We gotta be a little bit more lenient today. Clearly, the beats are not. We're starting off the year a little weak. That's the way to say it. Did I spell that right? I think so. I did. Let's go. We got Ravoni. That sounds kind of like a pasta sauce brand. You know what I mean? Like ragu almost.
Ravoni for the world.
Yeah, I don't really like the 808 being so wide. It also, like, when you make something wide and someone's listening to it in stereo, it makes it sound way, way louder, but it's not actually getting louder. So it kind of overtakes everything because I am listening to it in stereo. So, yeah. You don't have to mono the 808 necessarily. Like, all right, we're gonna have another talk. You don't technically have to mono the 808. Like, some 808s are not mono. I don't really know. This is not mono, right? This could work. That's not how you do an 808. It's a long day. So, right, like, we have this 808 we dragged in. What is even going on here? We don't need to mono the 808, but if you really want to, like, if you want to do some crazy shit, you can process the 808 in a way where it's like, let's say you have only the high end going to here, so you can just like cut out all the lows, probably near the end of your mixer channel. Like, let's say we just cut out all this. And then you could do some widening. I'd probably widen for after, to be honest with you. But then you can like throw in some separation and such. And it'll work because you're not doing it on the low end stuff, because that's where it gets messy and kind of gross. Yeah. So, oh yeah. No shot. You were asking, how do you post on the YouTube members? You have to link your Discord with YouTube, and then once you do that, I can. You should be added to it. If not, I can just update it or do it manually. So yeah.
Damn, RG, you made this?
I mean, overall it's good. There's no real big problems with it. It's a little plain, a little standard. Doesn't really have much in the way of variation from the 49 seconds that I listened to it. So I think you could really play around with that to kind of give it a little bit more life. Yeah, I also kind of felt like it was like a little quiet. The drums were an okay-ish volume, but the melody could be louder. In terms of levels, like I don't say you should aim for any specific levels, but with what I do, let's just full screen this. What I usually have, from what I notice, is my melody, the overall melody, everything there sits somewhere between 9 and 12, and then my drums are clipping. Yeah, we listened to that. We got Ilster. I think that's pretty good. I think the kick's a little overwhelming at times, but you know what? I think it's pretty solid. The glides are okay. I usually hate when people do really unnecessary glides, but you do some pretty tasteful ones here and there. There's like maybe one or two unnecessary. I think it's good. You're on your revenge arc. What are you trying to get revenge for, my guy? Like what happened to you? Who hurt you? What? I wronged you and now you're on your revenge arc. Crazy. What did I do to you, bro? I don't even remember who you are. There's no way you said hear it in my beat. Oh my god, I'm gonna listen to it, don't worry. I think it's good. I do feel like you played it a little safe with the rhythms and the way you kind of use the sample. I definitely think like you could have maybe played around with the chopping, got a cooler rhythm or a cooler vibe going with it, a little bit more kind of fast-paced tone to it. But I do think you have a good mix. You have a good sample. You have all sorts of good things here that could have been used maybe a little bit differently to get a more interesting vibe. We have to find your beat, honestly. What's your name again? You don't even have a name. No worries, man. This is actually what I'm here to do. I'm here to give feedback right now. So, yeah, we got made. Oh, we're getting to yours right after. This is perfect. you overused that Vox, but like the intro was really good. The way it kind of dropped in was interesting. You kept my interest. That's kind of the biggest thing. The mix is good. The drums hit. I think it's good. Can you listen to the song with Beast Boy on the cover, please? First of all, no. What? Like, are you telling me to like look on like YouTube for a specific thing? Is it submitted in here? What do you mean?
Hell yeah, get your accent right. Oh hell no.
Hey, Billy, turn that up, bro.
That kind of was a little lackluster, a little disappointing. Like, I think you have some good stuff here. The chords are nice, they're dissonant, they're dark, they're cool, they're vibey. The drums are hitting hard, it's good. It gets a little repetitive up until like this point. You could probably like, because you are just repeating the same chords over and over and over again. You can like just mix it up. We talked about this a little earlier in the stream. I don't know if you were here for that. But then it drops into this next section where it's just like it gets really quiet in comparison to what you just had. So it feels a little disappointing almost, a little lackluster. Also, that snap is too quiet. But you know what? You did pretty good. I'm gonna give you the 100 emoji or whatever it's called. The thing all the kids use these days. You know what I mean? Matte Black. Your snare's too loud. Like that just hurts me. I don't know if you guys ever go on Reddit. Don't go there for music advice. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Second thing I'm going to say is one time I looked on there and there was someone asking for music advice. They said, hey, how do I know if I've used too many kicks in my beat? And someone just said, hey, if it sounds good, it is good. Which, don't get me wrong, that is true. If it sounds good, it is good. However, this is like an example of too many kicks being used at times. You're going a little over the top. We don't need the kick that much. Less is more, and that's also a bit more how you create bounce. Like, you can create this expectation. Someone's listening, they're waiting for, I don't know, a kick or an 808 to hit. You delay it, that expectation gets built a bit more. It's kind of similar to like tension in chords. You delay the resolution of dissonance, and then it prolongs that tension a bit. Nabil. R/drum kits used to be way better. Life has changed. They've cracked down on it. It's not that good anymore.
Who's next? Next.
Yeah, I got YouTube Premium. Why is this loading in like, oh, that's the best. There we go. That's exactly what I'm asking. Where is the low end? Like, I was looking at this, right? Because we've got the flstudio picture. You can see like kind of the spectrum, the frequencies here. You can see that there's some low end, but like it looks like there's like a cut. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's the 808 sample, maybe it's not. But it's missing that depth that really makes an 808 an 808. Ours. We got Busy Works of Beats. Yeah, no shot. You can post more than one. Just post 2. Let's be reasonable. Let's not be like absurd lunatics here. Your slides just sound goofy. Yeah, I think that's a good point too. The melody low end might be taking up a little space the 808 should be taking up. The kick should be more saturated. The 808 should be a little bit more present in your mix. Oh my goodness, yo, my throat just like killed me. Killed myself. Yeah, the slides were kind of wonky as well. We're only listening to one, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is the same beat. Don't do this. Like this, if you're going to send something and there's like a cover art to it, first of all, this is probably, I'm guessing, AI generated. If not, then damn, you put some effort into this for some reason. Second, why did you go with this picture? Like, what in the like wannabe edgy teenager vibe is this? This is so cringy in a way. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to like roast you, but this is just, it's not the worst one that's ever been sent, but like this is like a visual representation of you as a brand. I don't think this is the way to go. Like this is not it at all. You know, it's so sad. Like, your beat goes crazy. It's a good beat. I'm just curious now. Let's see. Right? I just want to see some of your YouTube analytics at this point. 40 views. Okay, so you didn't even use that. That was just the cover art? What are you doing? You have good beats, but your branding is so terrible. Like, I'm sorry, no, who is gonna click on this? Like, you've got beats that slap. You have inconsistent branding. That's all. Like, a lot of this is AI generated from what I'm seeing. It's like goofy and cringy at times. And it's like, this is the first thing people see before they hear your music. They're not gonna listen to it if they don't want to click on it. And realistically, I'm never gonna want to click on this personally. Like, if I see this, I'm not clicking on that. If I see this, I'm not clicking on that. If I see this, I'm not clicking on that. If I see this much text on a thumbnail, I'm not reading it, I'm not clicking on it. Like, that's like the brain process to it. You gotta understand how people view thumbnails, right? This is like a garbled nonsense. And it's so sad to see, because you could probably be getting a shit ton more views if you just had better branding. More than 10 views, I guarantee you could get more than 10 views doing anything other than this. Anything other than that. If it's something you're like really set on doing, don't let me change it. But like, if you want to get more exposure, if you want to get more branding, like not branding, you want to get more like brand recognition, like people recognizing you as a brand, you need to have something consistent. You need to have something that actually looks good, presentable. I'm gonna open this up again. There's another thing I noticed too. Right? The other thing I noticed too is a lot of your thumbnails, it's not a consistent format. Like you have the black bars beside it. You see what I'm saying? For no reason. Yeah, today's sauce day. This is what I was saying though, when I was gonna split up the reviews, the member reviews that I was gonna alter around, there was gonna be like a channel review component in it. Like you could send in your channel, I would look at your channel and I would give you some feedback, kind of like that. Because as someone who has grown a channel to 170,000 subscribers, I've learned a lot. And I feel like I could share that information with some of you. I have helped other channels in my life. Like I've helped them grow, so I have experience with that. I believe he did, but there's like some popping happening.
No shot.
I'm gonna be real. Just because you can sample something, I don't think you should. And I'm not saying like limit yourself. I'm just saying just because something's trendy, you don't need to sample it. You know what I mean? There will always be another trend. The way I think you should approach it is you need to hear the trend and have an idea you like. You know what I mean? And then execute on the idea. I don't think in this case really the idea was there. It's just not, I don't see the vision. Bro, we're gonna have some beef if your mixes are sounding like this. I think at the 30-second mark is because it's getting more and more muddy as it's going. The 30-second mark here is a great time to stop and just kind of discuss like how you have all these different instruments and don't make me go back to MS Paint. It don't save. So if you want to think about it in a certain way, your beat is like a space, right? You have this much space. I don't know. You can have more space. Who knows, right? But you need to think about it as like a space. Let's say you put a piano. I'm gonna have to put text in here, aren't I? Let's say you throw in a piano, right? And the piano is really big, so it takes up a lot of that space. Can I even go bigger than this? No. Okay, so the piano takes up a lot of space. You want to throw in an 808. It's also pretty big. That's not how you spell 808. You put an 808, you know, it takes up some more space, but it's going down here because the piano's the high end, right? I don't know, you throw in like a bell. If you make this bell big, you're not gonna have much room for anything else. So you can make the bell a little smaller, make some room, cut out some of the frequencies you don't need. Use your space more wisely. Cut out the stuff you don't need, the frequencies you don't need. Whoa. This problem's a little deeper than I thought. Because you kind of just said, fuck the space. Oops, I did it wrong. You kind of just said, forget the space. And you've put a bunch of everything. Like, it's so goddamn loud. It's not being, like, controlled. You're not controlling your levels. This is kind of what we talked about earlier with the controlling the levels. But this is on your master channel. You're not controlling levels at any point. You need to control your levels. Louder isn't better from like a decibel standpoint, but like overall you still want it loud. Does that make sense? There's a lot to loudness. It's really dumb. There's like this thing called perception. What is it? Perceived loudness. That's what it is. And it's like where like something will sound either louder or quieter than what it actually is. It's besides the point. There's a lot you can get into, a lot you can learn about loudness. This is a bad example of how your beat should sound. I'm going to tell you right now, if there's a single genre in the world that has their master doing that, like their master channel doing that, the genre is not gaining any kind of traction. Cap world. I think this is, you know what, we'll kind of talk about perceived loudness, right? Because I kind of like it. I think it's cool. And it's basically like the idea that something will be louder, something will sound louder than it is or quieter than it is. Really simple. So like if you have your, I don't know why I opened up this. This is not gonna be helpful. But like if I'm pushing into my master, I've got a soft clipper on my master. I'm pushing in a bunch of stuff into this, and it's controlling my signal here to be at 0 decibels. I can do things to make it sound louder. Like for example, more saturation, kind of pumping that up. It can sound louder, more distorted too, but it can sound louder. Like there's a lot of things you can do to make it more loud from a perception standpoint. So that's kind of the bit there. You make your beats perceivably louder. I don't really know what you're doing here. Like the melody's okay. Sorry, I got something in my eye. The melody's okay. It's a little plain, a little empty. Like you're only really occupying that high-end frequencies. Like, oof. My English today is struggling. You're only occupying those high-end frequencies, so you're leaving the mids pretty empty, you're leaving the lows for your melody pretty empty, which isn't always a bad thing, but doing it constantly is, because there's a lot of frequencies there that are just being ignored, they're being neglected. So you want to fill up some of that with something else. Like you could throw in a piano just playing your bass notes, and then that will add in some depth, you know? Fill up those frequencies for your melody. The drum patterns are also all over the place. Like they're absolutely just, truthfully, they sound as though like you've started producing not that long ago and you don't have the greatest rhythmic understanding of what you're doing. I don't know if that's the truth or if that's the case. Maybe you're just like 2 billion IQ rhythm genius and I'm too stupid to catch on. That's besides the point. To me though, it sounds a little all over the place rhythmically. And one thing that might help your understanding of rhythm is that most beats, most genres, most music follows like a handful of very, very simple, very similar rhythms, right? You'll probably notice, I'll open up flstudio so I can explain a bit better. But one that you've probably heard many times and seen is like this. This is like the most basic, generic kind of rhythm. I'll play it too for like an 808 pattern, right? Let's find an 808. Short spins. Sure. Right? We don't want this to clash. This is like the most generic, basic 808 pattern though. Right? And so a lot of rhythms are based around these really generic, basic patterns, but they do certain things to kind of spice them up. They do certain things to add in a little bit of flavors. Like, I don't know, maybe we move this over here so it's a little off. I don't know. It's up to you. That's where you get to play around. That's where you get to be more creative. So you find these basic rhythms. You can look them up online. There's a bunch of them. Like, I'm not going to tell you every single one. Another really common one is like the 4 on the floor kind of pattern. A lot of them have names. You can find them, you can look them up, you can learn them, you can use them, and then you can build off of them, you know? Listen, OTT's a whole other story. We're not going to talk about it. Star Kid. There's some good things, there's some bad things. I don't know. I feel like, don't get me wrong, Tumphy's great. He makes a lot of really good beats. He has an interesting and cool, somewhat unique vibe to his music. Yeah, definitely inspired by Tumphy. But the thing that a lot of people miss is like the core, and this is the thing with music. Music a lot of the times, in like 99% of the cases, follows some basis that is just really simple, really, really basic, and has been around in music for a long, long time. One thing that you'll probably notice Tumphy do... Jesus Christ, you guys have me go back to FL Studio every 4 seconds. But one thing that you'll see him do is he does this like kind of chord bounce, right? I'm just using C minor because why not? So like your typical triad would be C, D sharp, G for a C minor chord. And so kind of what he does is he breaks it up a little bit like this. Not all the time, this is just sometimes, but this is kind of how he creates some of his bounce, right? You know, like, obviously this doesn't sound like his beats because it's FL keys, but like this is one sort of thing that he kind of does, you know? So listening to what he does, looking at what he does and kind of breaking it down in your head, it could be a better way to understand more so how to create the vibe you're trying to go for. Because I think you're close, but I don't think you did it as well as you may have wanted to. You know, you're missing some of the bouncy component. Again, we've kind of got an issue of you're just not controlling your levels. This would be really good if you controlled your levels. Yeah, my feedback is not going to change at any point while listening to this. It's good. It's a good beat. Everything is nice. The drums are nice. The samples are well chosen for the most part. Your levels are just so all over the place. It's like a disaster. This is a suspicious name. I think there's like some potential here. I think the mix is a little messy. Not the worst mix today for sure, but it's a bit messy. Like there's a lot of things kind of fighting for space. I'm okay-ish with the flute. I think it could sound a little bit more human, but I think overall it's pretty solid. Tell me what I can improve in my beats. Will do. Nice balls. All right, what you can improve: sound selection. This hi-hat doesn't really fit in. You've got this like kind of vibey, lower toned beat here, and then you have this like stupidly sharp hi-hat that's really short and choppy. I personally would have used something a little bit lower pitched, kind of toned hi-hat, something that has a bit more of a tail. Yo, whatever's in my eyes is fucking me up. Also, I really didn't like that reverse 808 into the beat. I think personally I'm not a fan of doing that. I think it's solid-ish. Like the melody's okay. You could probably turn the bells, like the counter melody bells you have, up a little bit. The 808's okay for this beat. Yeah, I think mostly it just kind of comes down to sound selection, and then that reverse 808, just I wouldn't do that. You could use like a more traditional transition. Like I have a bunch of go-to transitions. You've probably heard some of these too many times. This is like my favorite. Something like this could work really well in that context. Or something else, you know what I mean? You've got options. If you have transitions, you can find some online. Jambe, this is something you've been working on.
It's coming from the heavens, lighting up the ground. We're oversaturated by the sound, awakening the senses, feeling so alive. The atmosphere is beautiful tonight.
Yeah, you should have. I pressed the button on it. I mean, it's good. It's pretty solid. I felt like at one point the vocal sample kind of felt a little weird with everything else, but that's kind of my only thing. It's a pretty solid beat. Also, this chatbot kind of be dookie, so I don't know if maybe it just didn't work. You know what? Let's give 100 more points to everybody. There you go. 100 more points. I feel like we should probably change this. Like, we should make our own bot or something. I don't know if I can do that, but I probably can.
Are you serious?
No, like, I have my degree is in computer science. I work as a developer. So I have experience to do this kind of thing. I just don't know if I would invest the time in it. You know what I mean? Also, really cool thing. Let me see if I can show you this without exposing anything. Oops. Look at this. Right? I'm running an LLM on my local machine. I think that's so cool. Hello. I don't know what to say. It's nice to meet you. Cool. All right. There we go. Let's listen to this beat though. I didn't really love that like glidey lead you had going on. The vox here is okay, I guess. The chords, they feel really robotic. They're just like do, do, do. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you could play around with the rhythm a bit more, get a bit more creative with that. The lead, you don't need to be gliding like that. That's what I gotta say. Please listen to the whole thing. Not fully mixed yet. I'm not gonna listen to the whole thing. I'm gonna listen to probably about 40 seconds. Don't get me wrong, I think the vocal distortion is fine. But it felt like it should have just stayed more so for the intro and then kind of dipped out when the beat kind of comes in a bit. You could probably add different effects in there to make that more dynamic leading in, but that's my take on the vocal distortion. It almost feels like you're trying to be like Trippie Redd on some of these vocals.
Yeah, trying to get in that kick no baker. Smoking all these clips after smoking all our haters. All these niggas fake, plastic. Baby, our life great, fantastic. We about to get this paper with the single shit I've had it.
Yeah, this definitely sounds like you're inspired by Trippie Redd, to be honest with you. Skip to 23 seconds will do. Fool, I don't think your drums really work here. Yeah, I don't think the drums, like the kick 808, I don't like it. The melody, I just don't really love. You've done way better stuff before. It kind of feels a little painful. We already listened to one of this person's beats, Jade X ad or whatever, so we are not listening to another one. Osama-sun type beat. We're 1 second in and I hate your chords. This is like kind of painfully loud for me. Oh, I was talking to someone else when I said that. Like one specific person was asking me that, and I told them that they could. Also, I didn't say that like. I said that like relatively recently, not 2 hours ago, roughly. Listen, this chord is really bugging me, so let's do it. Let's talk. Right, I think it's okay to start on a dissonant chord. My favorite dissonant chord to start on is like a basic suspended chord. Right? Sounds okay. But when you have like so much dissonance, like I don't know, let's just do this. You need to resolve it, and it doesn't really feel like you're resolving it. You kind of just go right back into it. So I don't think your chords work that great. Feels pretty boring to you, but it sounds really dissonant to me. Probably a reason it sounds boring to you is because you're also like playing your chord progression pretty quickly and it's just repeating over and over again. So either you play the chords over like a longer period of time, or you got to like mix up the chords. We've talked about this before on the stream today. Like with changing up some of the notes, you could play around with just like chord inversions or add in some other notes to your chords. So that's definitely something you could do. All right, we'll give Keta's beat a listen, and then we'll get into the beat battle.
Wait, hold on, this Keta?
Whoa, what happened? What? That was kind of peculiar. What just happened? We were listening to the beat and what? Any Discord experts want to let me know what happened? Yeah, Keta, you cooked. It gets a little repetitive. I'm assuming you do change it up eventually because you usually do. Do a couple more. Probably not because this already extends. We do have a cutoff time. Listen, we have rules here, okay? We have a structured system. It's going to change soon, so like keep your eyes peeled, but we have a very structured system here. Beat review submissions will cut off at 12:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 10 minutes from now or 10 minutes after submissions open, right? So I gotta be respectful of not only my time, your time, but also the people who showed up on time. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, like every now and then we can do some outside of this. Like after the beat battle, I usually do listen to a few others. We'll see if we do that today, but I gotta be respectful of everyone, you know? I gotta be respectful of people who showed up early, who showed up on time to get their beats reviewed. And I don't think it's fair to just say, okay, let me just jump to whoever. You know what I mean? If you submit now, that's fine. I may not listen to it. There's a pretty decent chance I might not listen to it. If you stick around for the entire stream, like while we're doing the beat battle and stuff, maybe there will be a chance, but like I can't make a promise. It'll give me a smooch. Oh, that's kind of tempting. Let's kick off the beat battle though. First up, we got Ilster versus Lackey. Oh, I feel that. I think I listened to one of yours though, because you were the Jade XD person or whatever. I did listen to one of yours. We'll listen to Ilster versus Lackey though. First things first. I gotta find their beats. This is the awkward part. Here's Lackey's beat.
I used to think if I wasn't running around that I was square and I couldn't get down. But I was just flying my kite, 'cause you made things right.
Lackey, you're crazy.
Girl, you out of
Alright, that's Lackey's beat. Here is Ilster's beat. Don't forget to exercise your democratic right and vote for the beat you think is better. I'm gonna play more. Ooh, whoa! I'm gonna play a little bit more of Lackey's beat. I'll be real honest with you. The votes are pretty decisive here. I'm kind of happy with them because this dude's name is Ilster on Discord, but here it's a little different. So I'm happy to eliminate him. No offense, it's nothing against you. I gotta press start the tournament. Goddamn. Congratulations though, Lackey. You're moving on up. You're facing off against Jombe, so that's gonna be interesting. Let's give. Ooh, we'll listen to this right after. Don't you worry. We're gonna listen to Jombe's beat, and then we'll listen to Lackey's again. Alright, that's Jombe's beat. Commit that to memory because you're going to have to vote. And as everyone should probably know, democracy is only as effective as its voting population is informed. We're going to play Lackey's beat real soon. But there was a question. What is the prize for this beat battle? I'm so glad you asked. I have a website, by the way. It's called rlybeats.com. Great domain name if you ask me. I have a bunch of kits on there. Like my brand new Lyra Essential Kit, which has over 800 unique and hard-hitting sounds. I didn't just read that. That's the prize, by the way. That's the prize. Let's give Lackey's beat a listen.
I used to think if I wasn't running around that I was square and I couldn't get down. But I was just flying my kite, 'cause you made things right.
Lackey, you're crazy.
Girl, you out of
It's close, but there haven't been any votes for a second, so I'm gonna have to end it here. It's about the same amount of votes as last time too. Congratulations, Lackey, you're moving on up once again. This means we got Tempo versus Miko. The O names are facing off. Where is either of them though? Oh, nice, they're right there. Also, in case you're wondering, if you're really like deeply interested in getting this kit, but you're broke, you're not the only person in the world. I guarantee you that. So don't feel alone. I do giveaways on like a lot of my videos. YouTube. Let's go to YouTube. I'll even show you what I'm talking about. View my channel. Right? I've got this video here. This giveaway hasn't confused. So let me show you how to but basically, I'm giving away the Lyra Essentials kit for anyone who not anyone, but one lucky commenter. So there's like, I don't know, not that many comments on this video. 84. So your chance 1 in 84 roughly. That's not bad. It's pretty decent. Let's play Tempo versus Miko though. right, that's Tempo's beat. Also, someone was asking if this is only drums and such. No, it is not just only drums. There's quite a bit in here, actually. There's a drum kit. There's a serum bank. There is, I don't even remember off the top of my head. Let me find it. I'll run through it real quick for you. So there's a serum bank, a drum kit, a starters, just a bunch of starters. Like, you can just start a beat. You don't have any inspiration. Bam, drag it in. There you go. You've got a starter. It's not a full loop. It's just a starter. Congratulations. Then we got like MIDI. This is like drum MIDI. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't know how to do your hi-hats. There you go. It's a good learning thing too. There's a bunch of one-shots, like a ton of one-shots. Like, it's probably the biggest thing. I think there's like 400 one-shots. Then there's some like live recordings, like violins. Oops, that phrases, vocals, etc. So there's quite a bit of stuff in there. Sperm banks do not make me happy. All right, we played Tempo's beat. I'm gonna play Miko's beat now.
Miko, you know what's up.
Honestly, if I let this vote go on any longer, it just feels like I'm bullying a kid. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. Miko, you got absolutely slopped all over. It was kind of like just... Let's not focus on it. Congratulations, Tempo. You're moving on up. We got Lackey versus Tempo. Let's see who wins this one. I have a sneaking suspicion. But you know what? Let's give it a listen.
I used to think if I wasn't running around that I was square and I couldn't get down. But I was just flying my kite, 'cause you made things right.
Lackey, you're crazy.
Girl, you out of
Alright, that's Lackey's beat. Remember it. We're going to play Tempo's beat now. Wow. It's not bad. It's looking okay. It's we haven't really had many close battles so far. Congratulations, Tempo. You're moving on up to represent the Eastern Conference. I'm not giving this explanation again. But you did win. Congrats. That was a pretty close one. No, never mind. That was not very close. It was one of the closer ones though. Surprisingly. Good beats though all around. Lackey, you had a pretty good run. Now, we got the West. This is how we do it. I'm going to give the explanation. Fuck it. This is how we do it. Eastern Conference. Western Conference. If you're familiar with basketball, it kind of works similar to that, but we go through the East, then we go through the West. We got Benga versus Sfid. Now, Benga, if you don't remember, is the one with the most god-awful cover art in history, but banging beats.
We might be
Benga's beat. I'm gonna play Svid's beat now.
They said you going crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, like I said earlier, we haven't had a single vote go like even close to 50-50. I mean, we had the one with Jambe, that was about it. We haven't had very many that have been close to 50-50. This was like a very clear winner. You guys know who you want. You guys know what you like today. Benga, congratulations, you've moved on up. That means next up we've got Mihai versus Made. We got the M names. I'm gonna play M-A-I-D first. That's Made if you can't spell. So here it is. Alright, that's Made's beat. We gotta hop on over to the members chat to play Mihai's beat. Here it is. Good matchup. This is like a YouTube ad. I think the votes are in. This is probably one of the closer ones that we've had. Made has won as far as it stands right now. Congratulations. Both beats were good. Honestly, I do give Mihai his credit. This is one of his beats that I liked more than the others. So props to you for sure. But you have been unfortunately eliminated. That means all the members have been eliminated in the first round. You still like Lackey's beat? Power to you. Go for it. You can like whatever you like. We got 70 versus Benga though. That's where we're at now. I've played Benga's beat recently. We haven't listened to 70s, so I'm gonna give that a play first, and then we'll get right into voting. It's 70s beat. I'm gonna play Benga's once more. This is one of the closer ones, surprisingly. No, not surprisingly. I'm just surprised that we have any that have been close after the first little bit. But unfortunately, Benga, your beat has been eliminated. 70, you're moving on up. Benga, you had a great beat, honestly. The guitar was good. Cover art was trash. Fix that, please. But still a pretty good beat overall in the end. Congratulations to you. And congratulations to you, 70, for moving on up to the next round. Made and Raiden is up next. We're going to see who's got the better beat. We haven't heard Raiden's in a little bit, so let's give that one a listen first. That's Raiden's beat. Also, Benga, I didn't know you were here. I hope you were here for when we talked about your branding, because honestly, you've got really good beats, but your branding sucks so bad that you get no views. Also, this is the battle of the long intros, because Raiden had like a 35-second intro. Made has like a 40-second intro. Let's give Made a listen, and we can get to voting. That's Made's beat. I'm going to play a little bit more of Raiden's because we have some time. Votes are in. The victory has been decisively decided. Man, look at me using these big words. Raiden, you're moving on up. That means you're going against 70 to figure out who's representing the Western Conference. I don't even know. But we got 70 versus Raiden. Let's figure out who has the better beat between the two of them. The lifelong question. We're going to start with 70 because we just listened to Raiden's and my ears are tired of hearing his loud ass mix. All right, that's 70's beat. Okay, and now here's Raiden's beat. I don't know why I yelled that. I think the votes have kind of... Oh no, another vote came in. God damn it, you guys do this every time. We got it split at 50-50. We need you guys to exercise your democratic right. Put your votes in. People have died so that you could vote. Okay? Don't let their lives go to waste. This is so dramatic. I'm gonna play a little bit more of 70's beat though. All right, I don't think we're getting any more votes. We did get probably the most votes in this one that we've gotten in any of the competitions, or any of the matchups, I guess I should say. Raiden, you are moving on up 70. I'm sorry to say, but you unfortunately lost right at the last little bit. It was in your favor when I was about to announce it, but then a vote came in, tied it up, and then Raiden got the rest of the votes from there pretty much. So that means Raiden is representing the Western Conference Finals. Have a good day, Benga. Take care. I hope you're doing well. Hope you have a great weekend. Raiden is representing the Western Conference. Tempo is representing the Eastern Conference. And now we have the battle of music here, okay? We have a very modern beat versus a very classical 2000s rap type beat. This is very different. This is where we find out where rap is going for the rest of life. Let's give Tempo's beat a listen. Alright, that's Tempo's beat. I'm going to play a little bit of Raiden's beat and we'll get into the voting. I'm gonna play a little bit of Tempo's beat, but I'm gonna be real honest with all of you. This isn't even close. practically everyone here has voted except for the chat bot that is in chat telling you how many goddamn points you have. And it's still not close. Tempo has won. Congratulations, Tempo. You have won. I believe this is your first time ever winning. You have destroyed Raiden to take the championship, the title for Producer of the Month for January. First month of the year. Congratulations to you. I'll reach out to you and, yo, I gotta hook you up. Oops, I can't spell. With the Lyra Essentials kit, right? If you already have it, let me know. We can hook you up with a different kit. Or, truthfully, yeah, I gotta add you too. Crazy. Okay, I sent you a request. That's besides the point. We'll dive into that later. If you already have the kit, don't worry. We'll give you a different kit. We'll hook you up so that you do get an actual usable prize. Yeah, don't spam. Don't spam in chat. I don't want to have to time out people just because they're hyped. So you lost. You did. If you want to see the full breakdown, you did lose against the winner. It's a better feeling to lose against the one who won it all than to lose against the guy who got eliminated next round. That's the truth. All right, we got Slummin. I don't know. You know what? Interesting profile picture. You do you. I'm not gonna comment. Let's give it a listen. Silliman, I'm gonna tell you right off the rip, your sound selection sounds like it's coming from the medieval ages. Your melody sound selection is just really not it for this beat. Like, okay, I'm gonna maybe briefly explain kind of how I go about sound selection. I typically start off, I'll make something on FL keys. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm gonna make like some power chords with kind of power chords-ish, right? So if we just make like a really basic progression here, this will probably sound okay. Except for that chord, damn. That sounds okay, right? So like I have this, I hear it, I think to myself, damn, what would sound good on this? Never in my life do I think, let's throw in some bagpipes or whatever instrument this is. You gotta use better sounds, right? And how to get better sounds is a variety of ways, but one of my favorite ways is learning how to make your own sounds. You can do it for free in Vital. You can do it for $250 in Serum. It's pretty easy, it's pretty cool. And it's a great experience to learn, right? Like, let's say I just want something very like ragey. You know what I mean? Like, let's bump up the unison. Maybe I'll do a sound design tutorial. Who knows? This is obviously not the sound I'm using because I'm not making this into a beat, but you know what I'm saying, right? You can make a sound you would actually want to use. If that's not the direction you want to go in, then you really need to sit down and think, what would work with this pattern? How do I want this to sound? Because it's a little bit of a thinking exercise. Damn, rlybeats, you so nonchalant. I was nonchalant before it was cool. That's all I gotta say. Oh, yo, I didn't even see that. Yo, thanks for the super chat, Samurai or Samurai 1. Tempo, congrats to Tempo. Big ups to Tempo. I also really don't like what you're doing here with this hi-hat. You're going from the two-step or whatever, maybe the two-step. I don't know what your BPM is, but you're going from fast to like really slow, like on beat kind of hi-hats. It just didn't do anything interesting, you know? Sound selection though is definitely the biggest issue here. Am I doing beat reviews still? No. This is it. We've wrapped it up. This was the last beat we were listening to. Someone pinned me or tagged me or whatever it's called. They added me. There's so many messages here. Oh, here it is. sometimes I wonder, like, are people NPCs? Like, what is this? That's besides the point. Anyways, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for coming out to the beat reviews. There will be another one next month. There's also probably going to be a beat battle. Remember, beat reviews, like we talked about at the beginning of the stream. If you didn't catch it, you can just replay the VOD. At the very beginning, we break down the kind of the plan. That's whatever. Have a great weekend. That's the big message.